really is nice to see people excel and see people do and help people do well. You know, do feed their families and have nice schools and do what we love to do. I know you don't do it. You don't do it for the money.
Right.
I don't do it for the money. We do it because we love it.
Hello, this is James Cox with the Martial Arts Lifestyle Podcast. I am honored and privileged today to have with me a very special guest. I grew up watching you. I grew up watching you fight and compete. I remember somehow I would get some VHS tapes of some of your fights. This was called a VCR back in the days for those people who don't know.
Yes,
and
sir.
I'd stay up, man, watching you fight. I loved your hook kick, spinning back kick, good overhand right. Now, Troy Dorsey is a Dallas Texan guy and Dallas area, right? And one of the only men in history, I think, is you guys can look him up, man. He was world champion in kickboxing, multi-time in boxing, and then point fighting and karate, all three sports at the same time. But if you wanted to kind of just maybe briefly introduce yourself, Mr. Dorsey.
Okay, thank you very much. You don't have to give me the $100 back that made you
for all that?
All
Okay.
that nice stuff. That was really nice. It only cost $100. I started martial arts in summer of at the end of school in the summer of '74 because I was getting bullied. So I have two brothers. They also started with me, and this can go all kind of different directions. But I'll try to stay on task here. But so I went to martial arts school, and I loved it. And after I was in the martial arts for 2 weeks, me and my brother, we fought in a karate tournament. We were really good. We were ready to go.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Got 2 weeks training. I got second place. And I think my younger brother got third. And then after that, then it was a long dry spell for me. But my youngest brother, Rodney, he was winning tournaments and placing in the U.S. Karate Championships back in the 70s when it was humongous. Like, no telling, I don't know, maybe he had 30, 40 people, 50 people in his division. And then my brother, my middle brother, he was kind of in the middle. Actually, he wasn't, because he would win or place, or my younger brother would win or place, and me, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
right.
So I just kept on pushing. I kept on pushing.
You know, you're a legend in the martial arts and in the fighting world. You know,
You're gonna make me cry.
Well, man, I appreciate you and everything you've done, and
It's just so unbelievable. I started when I was 11 years old. Boom. I'm 60.
Yeah.
I'm 60.
50 years. So you're right at 5 decades.
next month.
Of doing this.
Or next year.
month. Yeah.
Next year. We could say next month, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And you're still teaching today, right?
Yes, sir. I'm still teaching. I'm not teaching as much. I have a guy that bought into my business, and two actually, Ty Garrett and Caleb Ebel, and Caleb Ebel does most of the teaching, and I'm pretty much heading the desk operation. So.
I like Ty. He's a good friend of mine. We kind of started martial arts around the same time, the same areas, and competed together. And that kind of helped made the connection with. I went to a seminar with you long ago, and I met you a couple of times, early on. But Ty helped me get this connection. You're going to work with some of our fighters here in a little bit, and
yes, sir.
training our students here tomorrow, man, at the big training seminar. So it's going to be a good time.
Hold your thought if you can. I'm not very good at holding my thoughts.
Okay.
They go away. What you're talking about, Ty Garrett. Mr. Garrett has a school in Amarillo, and a very highly successful school. My wife tested for a black belt in 1991, and with her, a guy named Mark Sturkey and a couple other men tested. So it was my wife and 3 men. And it was like a 6-hour-long hard. It was an old-fashioned type test, and they beat the heck out of each other and got beat up. And anyways, Mark Sturkey, in that group, we were really good friends. He worked in our day class, and he moved to Amarillo. So when he moved to Amarillo, I didn't know Ty Garrett. He didn't know Ty Garrett. He just looking around different schools to find some place that he could train and continue his training that he started with me and got his black belt. And so he went to one, I won't mention the name, he went to somebody and went to somebody else, and finally he found Ty Garrett. And then Mr. Garrett didn't have anyone to test him. So I started testing for higher degrees of black belt. Then I started doing seminars for him, and then we put together the Troy Dorsey Kickboxing organization. Myself, Ty Garrett, and then you can get your tongue twisted up, kind of. And then there's Garrett Poole. Garrett Poole is in New Braunfels. He's an amazing martial artist, just like Mr. Garrett is. So God put us all together for the right reason at the right time, and now we have this Troy Dorsey Kickboxing organization where we help schools with their curriculum and with their business systems, and just all the way around. We've helped some people. I think Dustin Matthews.
Yeah, he's one of my black belts.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's just rocking it.
Yeah,
He
no,
rock-
I
he
see,
bought
I
it-
see
he
you
bought it
guys
building.
doing big things. That's awesome.
He bought it building last year, I think. So
Yeah.
so that's a key for or it's a good thing for school owners instead of paying rent all the time.
Sure.
Buy a building.
Yeah,
and
right.
they've doubled and tripled their gross, I believe, and it really is nice to see people excel and see people do and help people do well. You know, do feed their families and have nice schools and do what we love to do. I know you don't do it. You don't do it for the money.
Right.
I don't do it for the money. We do it because we love it.
Yeah,
So-
100%. How did you separate fighting, boxing, kickboxing, karate professionally, and having titles at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I would sign a contract for I started kickboxing in 1979, and Demetrius Evanis, the Greek,
The
he
Golden
he
Greek,
promoted
yeah,
these fights.
yeah.
He had the Golden Greek, so he was my hero.
Yeah.
I wanted to be just like he was. I tried to fight like he did. I tried to kick like he did. I wore my hair long like he did. I was just like, he was my hero. And my trainer was my instructor was Jim Choate. So I started point karate and then kickboxing. When I started kickboxing, that was my love, and that was my passion. And then in 85 or 83, somewhere around there, I wanted to be a better kickboxer, so I went to a boxing jam. My uncle Gary Hammonds knew a boxing coach in Fort Worth. His name is Casey Malone, and Casey's son trained at a gym where Don Curry, I don't know if you remember Donald the Cobra Curry, was a world champion. Gene Mad Dog Hatcher and Little Stevie Cruz. Those guys all had won world championships, and actually I got to go, and I was Stevie Cruz's sparring partner. So most of the time when people think about sparring partners, they're just people that they get to beat up. But we all worked together, and we pretty much killed each other.
Yeah,
And
but to make each other better.
That's how you get better.
Yeah.
When I say killed each other, you gotta push. I was the Barry McGuigan who fought Steve Cruz fought Barry McGuigan, and Barry McGuigan was an unbelievable fighter, and he was one of my heroes too. And then so just a couple of years before that, he was the world champion in boxing, and I was just barely starting. And I didn't be to be Steve Cruz's sparring partner. I was Barry McGuigan is who I was. Because I fought similar to him, aggressive.
Yeah.
And Steve Cruz
You
beat
were
him.
definitely aggressive.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Every shot, man, was power. You know, again, I kind of grew up watching you, and then I started doing some boxing, comes kickboxing, and some sport karate at the same time too.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then you also got your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, correct?
Oh, yes, sir.
You don't probably remember this because I was still kind of younger. I looked a lot up to you, and I trained with Travis Luter.
Oh, yeah.
I trained with Travis Luter for about 8 months, man. I went from Abilene to there in Fort Worth. And I remember going in there, and we actually rolled, you and I. I don't remember. But I was like,
Did I tap out?
No, I don't know. I'll say you probably won. But you are Troy Dorsey, the martial art legend, and you were in there wearing a white belt at the time when I came in. I was like, and I don't know if everyone even knew who you were, but I knew who you were.
Oh, yes, sir.
And I was like, wow, look at this guy, man. And I was doing the same thing. I was starting over in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. But I saw you not only go through all that, and then later after your kickboxing boxing career, you were humble enough to put a white belt on and to earn your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. They're one of the world's best.
Yes, sir.
So that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
It was. Jiu-Jitsu was, so I wanted to, when I retired from fighting, I wanted to keep doing something to stay fit and to exercise, and something that I really liked. And running, I like running. And I like other things, jumping rope, and so that's just different. It's just different when you're engaging with somebody.
Yeah.
In other words, you're fighting. So
contact. Right?
Jiu-Jitsu is fighting on the ground. It's wrestling, tap out. It's on the ground pretty much, and I loved it, and I got my black belt, and yeah. Travis, he's straight up guy. He's like, I mean, he didn't say he had to start a white belt. He's just here's your uniform.
Yeah.
And I wore a white belt for a year. You know how long it takes, right?
Yeah.
And a blue belt for 2 or 3 years, and so you know how long it takes to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Usually it takes 10 years, right? Didn't take me 10 years. It took me 12. I'm a slow learner.
Right. Well, you earned it. You deserved it, man.
It really is nice, though. I love jiu-jitsu.
That's good. Yeah, I got to get deeper in it. But we're doing some jiu-jitsu here tonight as well, and you're going to teach a group of my guys some boxing and kickboxing. Okay. So I know you're doing a lot with the Troy Dorsey Kickboxing organization, and
yes, sir.
I talked with Garrett and Ty. So if you guys are interested, man, not only in a good affiliation with martial arts skills, developing the kickboxing and a curriculum, but the business systems, then they can find you. I think you guys have a Facebook page. We had Ty
yes,
on
sir.
here, and
yes,
he
sir.
gave you guys a shout out on all of that. You're still traveling and doing seminars.
Yes, sir.
How can people find you, Mr. Dorsey?
Well, Troy Dorsey Karate at sbcglobal.net is my email. That's a really short email. Troy Dorsey Karate at sbcglobal.net. If you're interested in me coming and doing a seminar on boxing or on kickboxing or on jiu-jitsu or any of those three or all of those three, I'd be happy to do that. Yes, thank you.
Well, you guys look them up, man. I know you're teaching kids and adults and just doing some good things, but we'll keep doing all those great things, man. I appreciate you, and we're gonna have some fun and some training. All right,
yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
guys look up Mr. Dorsey, and you'll be glad you did. Thanks again, and check us out on YouTube, James Cox Martial Arts.